Hello, Assalamu alaikum. I'm running a bit late today. I've got a lot of work to do today. I thought I'll just take off 15 minutes to make a quick video. I'm hoping to make a video every Tuesday. So then it's at least once a week. So, further to the Faith and Justice party, I met a very interesting guy in the mall in a coffee shop. And he, surprise, thinks a lot like me. I'm a maverick. My wife says I'm the last of the Mohicans. Those of you are old enough to know that movie. I find he's the first person ever that I met who kind of thinks a lot like I do. You know, he understands that the whole education system must be revamped. He studied at the Technikon. He's a jeweler and an artist, and he's a very different thinker. And that's the kind of thing that we need in South Africa. We need somebody that thinks differently. And that is because sorry, I got a phone call. That is because everybody thinks the same. Everybody is nowadays, everybody's a product of the OBE education system, knowing very little, believing everything that they see on the internet because everybody goes on their cell phones, and they will deny you and your history because the internet says something else. I've experienced that a few times with my students, you know, when I talk about the past, about South Africa and what it was like. And even though I tell them, but I was there, I lived through it, I know what I'm talking about, they'll say, no, the internet says something different, you know, so you can't trust the internet. I definitely know I don't trust the internet. I was around from before internet. So I am, like I say, I'm very different, and I'm what is called a polymath. For those of you who don't know what a polymath is, nothing bad, it's something good. Poly means many, and math, of course, means mathematics. So I'm what is called a STEM person, you know, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But in particular, I'm a computer scientist. And I'm also what you call an independent researcher. I'm blowing my own trumpet for a short while here now. I just want you to get to know a little bit about me. Unfortunately, if I don't tell you, then you're not going to know. My cousin, who teaches me to play golf on a Thursday and who's with me in this stuff that I'm doing, not just this party, but all the other kind of business stuff that I'm busy with, he says that I tend to polish my ego when I talk about myself. But, you know, he's also told me that I'm a bit, what's that word? That psychological condition that some people have. In the movie Rain Man, that one man was like that. I forget the name now. But he said that I'm like that, but I'm not like that. I know I'm not. I don't have any psychological mental aberrations, or maybe I do, but it's not it's an aberration in the sense that I'm not normal. Like I don't sit inside the bell curve. You know, I sit on the right hand side. I actually am so different that I did research methodology as a lecturer, and I assisted with getting research methodology up and running at the old Technikon. And so the computer department in the Bellville campus can do MTechs and DTechs and stuff because I assisted with developing research there. In fact, I did a MTech, but then I ran into political problems. You know, it was apartheid back then, and we had these white privileged academics who didn't know what they were doing. They were stupid. They couldn't perform in their countries. So they came here and they became senior lecturers simply by virtue of their skin color. When I was a technician, straight after high school, where I couldn't go to university because it was reserved for white people, I actually had, when I qualified as a technician, I had a Limey from London who told us he knew nothing about telecommunications, but he was our senior technician because they were given senior manager, supervisor jobs in South Africa simply on the basis of them being white. Because the Afrikaners had a problem back then in that there were too few white people. There were 2 million English, roughly, and 3 million Afrikaners. With a sprinkling of Portuguese and Chinese were also classified white, but like a very, very small amount. So that makes 5 million, and the rest, there was 40 million people living in South Africa. So they needed more manager, supervisory people, but they had to be white because the law said they had to be white. Now, young people, my sons especially, my students definitely, don't want to know about apartheid. To them, it's something of the past. It happened. It's finished. It's gone. We've forgotten. We've forgiven. But what they don't understand is that it still continues. The struggle continues. We are still being enslaved, but remotely, and look at how South Africa is divided up. Brown people still, by and large, stick to their own brown areas, the colored areas, from the days of the Group Areas Act. Yes, a lot of people are buying houses in former white areas and taking back what used to be mixed areas where they were evicted from. But by and large, people have grown into what the huge social engineering project did to them. For example, brown people think in terms of jobs. I was brought up that way. I eventually went to university, got a degree in computer science, and then I got a quiet job. But it was still a job. And, one day, a friend of mine from my university days, he asked me, why is it that the white guys who were with us in the lectures, why are they doing totally different kind of work? I mean, they start up companies, there's Thoughty Computing. Look at Elon Musk. He's a South African who went to university here. He's got bachelor degrees. So why do we don't do that? There's something wrong with our thinking, he said. So I looked into it, and to cut a long story short, today I am busy starting up 4 different businesses in cutting edge areas. Like, I'm a computer scientist first and foremost. I said I'm a polymath, but my forte is computer science. So what I do was, because I disagree with the educational institutions around the world, that sounds weird, but basically they expect you to be in line with what they are doing. Okay, I mean, I've got my own mind. I think of my own stuff, and I look at the stuff that's there, and I see all kinds of mistakes. I see, when they say in line, it's more like towing the line and going with the flow, just so you can get research funding. No, so what about the truth? What about stuff being wrong? I'll give you one example, right? Those of you who have done physics, do you know that the physics that you do in high school throughout South Africa and many parts of the world, not all, but many, it's called Copenhagen physics. Copenhagen is a city in Germany, and that's where a whole lot of Germans and a whole lot of physicists from other countries came together in the 1920s, and they fleshed out the basics of physics, that's why it's called Copenhagen physics. And I'm talking about people that you've heard of if you studied physics: Heisenberg, Niels Bohr, Albert Einstein. And, it was a whole lot of them, not only 3, there was maybe about 40 or 50 of them. And most of them won the Nobel Prize in physics. You all know Albert Einstein. He was the genius of the last century, of the 20th century. And so I looked into physics, and then I saw I could actually take it further, in the sense that I could do a classical PhD on intergalactic physics, because Einstein's physics, by the way, it's interstellar physics. And the physics world assumes that it's impossible to leave our galaxy, the Milky Way. I don't think so. Well, not with a rocket engine, you can't. But the assumption is that rocket engines is the only way to travel. And the other assumption is that space in the galaxy is the same as space outside the galaxy. Like it's homogeneous and continuous. But anyway, I've got 2 independent researcher PhDs in computer science. Computer science, one in artificial intelligence, which is the big thing nowadays. I've got my own AI, not a bot, my own AI platform. Like ChatGPT, mine is called ChatILM. Look out for it, it's going to come out soon. I'm hoping to get a funder soon, in the next couple of weeks. And then I can market and advertise it and all of that. Then I've got then I'll go into partnership with a funder, make money, and then fund my own blockchain, which is a second business. Not many people know about blockchain, but that's another cutting edge field in computer science. Bitcoin is an example of a coin on its own blockchain called the Lightning Network. And when I'm done with that, then I'm going to be funding my third business, which is all about software apps, SaaS, software as a service, built on top of my AI, a new model AI. And then at the same time, I'm going to start my 4th business. So I need to make a lot of money. The 4th business is the big farm. I need to get out of this house here where I live in. I think in the first video I said I live in Hanover Park. I live near Hanover Park. I live in Kenwyn, in fact, which is fairly near to Hanover Park, near enough to hear the bang bangs that I spoke about in the last video. So things improved a bit here in Kenwyn. In the last, I think in last week, they cleared out all the street people here under the bridge, and they making it look all neat and tidy and stuff. It's such a big relief. So we won't have rats invading the house anymore. Yeah, so I've got 2 computer science theses, 2 physics theses, one about the massive world, billions of light years, intergalactic, and the second one is about what's called quantum physics. They are very, very wrong about entanglement and all that. In fact, quantum physics means tiny physics, like atoms and quarks, but they've made it mean entanglement. Like it's a fact, it's a truth. There's no other, and they talk like that, it's no other explanation, for sure. They have one-track minds, they are self-centered, and then I've got another 2 PhDs, and all these PhDs are on Zenodo. So you can go onto Zenodo. It's a special repository for people like me and for other academics also, because I submitted there. So, I can always say, but I did a PhD on this particular thing at the beginning of 2026 already, because I can't find a university to accept my PhDs. I mean, I even extract small papers of 15, 17 pages and submit it to journals, and then you have to wait a year for them to publish it. But anyway, I'm eating 15 minutes now, so that's enough of me now. I hope I didn't bore you. So I'll talk to you again next time about something else. See you. Bye.